It's a very different picture, isn't it, if you're running a small business? I mean, take Bruce, for example, who runs the Larrikin Hotel up there in Bowen in Queensland. Hi, Bruce. I was up there recently. Lovely spot, lovely hotel. The Larrikin Hotel, let's just repeat that. Look, Bruce was telling me, the bar wasn't terribly full that night, and the reason was he can't find a chef. There's just not enough workers there. Now, if his quest to find that essential worker is going to be also hamstrung by the fact there's all sorts of extra wage pressures on him, plus all the extra paperwork they seem to want to throw at you, I mean, you might as well give the game away, right? I mean, it just seems to me that Labor needs to get a grasp pretty quickly of what it's like at that end of the economy.
And they need to understand how important for businesses, particularly smaller businesses in regional towns and in coastal communities, or bush communities too, it is to have travellers and young people who are prepared to take those kinds of jobs as part of a bit of a working holiday. With the message that's been sent internationally through the COVID period about Australia being closed in something of a draconian nanny state, it's become very hard to get the person to work the bar in Birdsville as it has been to get somebody to wash the dishes in Bowen.
Yeah, now fortunately there is some common sense, it seems, on the Labor side. I see that Competition Minister Andrew Leigh has a better grasp of the relationship between productivity and wages than some of his colleagues. In a speech this week, Leigh said, quote, slower productivity means slower real growth in wages and less buying power for households. That's it in a nutshell, right?
It sure is. Somebody reshuffle the deck chairs in Labor to give that guy a chance to do his thing more than, say, Mr Burke and Mr Bowen and Mr Albanese.
And Leigh also made some prescient observations about business startups, which traditionally have been a real driver for productivity in this country because they increase competition and they also tend to introduce innovation. They tend to find smarter ways to do things. But as Leigh points out, the rate of growth in new businesses is slowing. And as a Liberal, Amanda, I'm sure like me, a Liberal who believes in encouraging people to be enterprising, to take a risk, to have a go, because that's what drives prosperity, it's something we must be worried about, I would think.
It is something to worry about, and it's interesting that those numbers have quite rapidly changed in recent times. We had seen, even through that COVID period, some pretty impressive numbers, particularly around people starting businesses from home and women in that mumpreneur space. So it really is important that we keep driving opportunity for people to back themselves in entrepreneurship and in self-employment and in small business. It's where so many people cut their teeth, and it's where all of the innovations that become big businesses start. And we really need to do everything we can in a policy sense to back them in.
Yeah, I like that word, mumpreneur. I guess I see you as a mumpreneur now, Amanda. Let's talk about that particular group. I think it's clear that the way the coalition performed when it came particularly to younger women, which wasn't terribly flash, right? You'd know that. Clearly we have to connect with these people, and that seems to me the kind of policy area in which we can connect with them to encourage and find ways in which they can become, engaged and entrepreneurial and do all those things. Is that something we need to look at?
Look, I think young women and women who are parents, they all have the same sorts of aspirations as the rest of us. They want to pursue things that interest them. They want to build something that's lasting. They want to provide for their families, and they want to be able to enjoy the fruit of that effort.